In 2022, I was doing the most. At Devil's Lake, chilling with the gang on the blue boat. Tied to the dock and they float on the water. It's choppy like aquanaut bullets popping out the super soaker. Lit the backwards, you could call me a toga. Making songs about my girl and my life, I ain't a joker. There's a storm, so get inside. You're gonna get wet instead of getting dry. You might die from hypothermia, but if you warm, then it's all lies. Girls gotta find the right guys to live and love life with. If there's strife, we breaking up and we pissed that we didn't give each other one last kiss. It could have been so full of bliss, oh yes, I raised my arm in the air and I'm shaking my fist. In 2022, I was doing the most. At Devil's Lake, chilling with the gang on the blue boat. Tied to the dock and it float on the water. It's choppy like aquanaut bullets popping out the super soaker. Lift the backwards, you could call me a toga. Making songs about my girl and my life, I ain't a joker. I'm just a backwoods smoker, drinking Caymans without Roca. Every time I record, I'm hitting doper. If I'm with you in a Jodo cave rave, whip out the escape system, I'm a roper. All the pain in my heart, I'm a coper. And you say I'd like a girl when I don't even know her. The moment goes by and I blur to get deterred by some boy who I be getting nerfed like a gun. Shooting rubber darts at the sun. In paradise, that's where I'm having all my fun. Cause you're my number one. In 22, I was doing the most. The Devil's Lake, chilling with the gang on the blue boat. Tied to the dock and it float on the water. It's choppy like aquanaut bullets popping out the super soaker. Lift the backwards, you could call me a toga. Making songs about my girl and my life, I ain't a joker. 2020, COVID hunted me down. Couldn't taste the smell in 2021. Blue Boat Gang rebooted the trip up Devil's Lake, and I was dropping song after song, album after album. I was starting to blow up, dumping peach soda onto my wrist from my cup. Like, what's up? In 2022, started watching One Piece, and I said to myself, I'll sell the ocean blue when I crown myself marine tycoon and go having zoo. Push up with the gang, they my goons. Snatch on the beat. In 2022, I was doing the most. At Devil's Lake, chilling with the gang on the blue boat. Tied to the dock and it float on the water. It's choppy like aquanaut bullets popping out the super soaker. Lift the backwoods, you could call me a toga. Making songs about my girl and my life, I ain't a joker. 2022, I was doing the most. At Devil's Lake, chilling with the gang on the blue boat. Tied to the dock and it float on the water. It's choppy like aquanaut bullets popping out the super soaker. Lift the backwoods, you could call me a toga. Make songs about my girl and my life, I ain't a joker. Yeah.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode. This is 0.9. And this is the final episode of season 0. So, with that being said, there will be a significantly long gap, or a pretty short gap, until my brother and I can get season 1 figured out. And then, so basically this is just going to be the season 1 announcement and the final episode of this season. Let me check something real quick. Yeah. Okay. So far, it is coming directly through the headphones only, not going through the speakers, because when I had it on the other, when I had the stereo on the other setting, it was also coming through the speakers. So maybe the AV5 is the right one. So each episode is going to get progressively longer, and then I'm going to do a video during the official season 1 announcement, so you can actually, because then I'm going to reveal a bit more, because for right now there's not much known about season 1, because, well, I have announced the episode list for that for season 1, but not like any further details about each episode and what they'll include, what we're gonna include in each of the episodes. So you just have to, stay tuned for all of that, and then just tune into my YouTube and and it would be greatly appreciated if you subscribed and then hit the bell and then selected all, because it'll give you options when you subscribe. Once you hit subscribe, there will be a bell with a little drop down menu, and you can tap that and it'll give you the options for all notifications or weekly or whatever. Then you will get notified immediately after I upload, so then you do not miss a single video. I know every other YouTuber says that, but I'm just putting it out there that it will help me. So with all these episodes, I have had a fun time doing this beta thing because it's still in its beta phase. So I may do a couple episode extras after this, but that'll be like another week or two from now. So in the meantime, we're just going to be talking about season 1. So season 1 is going to be futuristicism, eco-efficiency tips, and SNIACHY Fest, zucchini chips plus, and possibly some talk about amphibia tech too. But that's not going to... The whole amphibia tech thing's a story for another day. That's gonna be really exciting to talk about because there's so much to talk about with like futuristic water tech and all that, like watercraft tech, and especially like the way the Sea-Doo like the way pontoons are starting to evolve now. Like, because what I saw at the boat show with the Sea-Doo pontoons, those look and appear to go fast. They look like they will travel much faster on water compared to a old school pontoon boat. So, because it's made out of it's all made out of plastic with there's no actual windows or anything on it. It's just like a rubber covering, kind of that a rubber. It's like a rubber tarp on it. It's like a rubbery plastic canopy type cover on it. So that really, a majority of those things are kind of made out of the same material as a rain jacket would be made out of. So and the pontoon being made out of plastic, like hard plastic, it's gonna make it go a lot faster across the water, like on top of the water. It's basically gonna quote unquote levitate on the water, because it's so lightweight. It's such a lightweight watercraft that you won't be worrying about the two huge tubes getting dented, because it's kind of almost like a catamaran boat in a way. It's literally almost like a catamaran, because it doesn't have those giant fat metal tubes on the bottom of it like an old school pontoon would have. It basically is a catamaran and a pontoon fusion. So it's more of a jet ski. It's more of like a jet ski and catamaran hybrid in a way. Like if you took a catamaran and a jet ski and fused them together, you would get a Sea-Doo pontoon. And that, I think, would be a great replacement for the blue boat, even though I have not mentioned that enough in my music, and I have not mentioned that enough in the titles of the Blue Boat Gang albums. So yeah, it's literally everywhere. So I'm pretty sure by the time I'm pretty famous, then a majority of my fans will know about my boat, about my family's boat. But that's going to be changing in the future, because the blue boat is actually kind of starting to break down. because it's well over, a little over 40 years old. So give or take in the next 5 to 10 years, it may be fully non-functional, and we're obviously gonna have to get a new boat. So I'm thinking we get a Sea-Doo pontoon to replace it. It would be a great replacement, and it will travel much faster on the water, and it's much more durable than fiberglass. Because fiberglass, it's great and all, and it was durable during the time that it was built in, and it still is. Because I mean, my car, when I had that little collision back on January 17th, around like 8:40 at night. I don't know why I remember so many details of it. I guess that's just a me thing. But it's like there was no debris, so like it really didn't go all over the road. I think it went up all inside the car for the most part. And it was just confusing. That's for another episode. But point is, fiberglass is kind of on its way out, and we're going to be replacing it with hard plastic and or hard rubber. Well, actually, I think hard plastic will do better than hard rubber, because rubber can get scuffed and wear down quicker than hard plastic can. I mean, both can, but I'd say hard plastic is more durable than rubber. Because I'm like, if you really envision it in your head and think that like a boat being made out of like hard rubber, or like something like my microphone cord, for example, if you make a boat out of that material, that is, yeah, you're not gonna. I mean, it may be durable in the beginning, but like towards the end of the boat's life, it may not be so sustainable and durable, because it's gonna start crumbling apart. Because if it gets wet so much to a point where the rubber starts cracking, because rubber will crack after a really long time. I mean, it's just common knowledge that rubber it does crack, and it's gonna wear down. So I think hard plastic is the best way to go for futuristic looking boats and jet skis and pontoon and any other watercraft out there. So really, with that being said, the blue boat is going to eventually get replaced. Like, I cannot stress this enough. It's gonna get replaced no matter what people say about it. Like, it's going to eventually break down completely and not function any longer. And then we're gonna have to replace it. So I'd suggest a Sea-Doo pontoon would be the best option, because that thing will be durable for years down the road, and it will travel quicker and more swiftly on the water compared to the boat now, because that thing doesn't really stay up on top of the water all the time. Because the last day I was there last year, because we were only staying there for 3 days, so we were all packed into the boat, like we filled all the seats, and so we were basically weighing the back of the boat down, and it was really hard to get to the place we were going, and also it was very choppy. So the boat on like full throttle moved slower, because we were weighing it down so much to a point where even if you put it in its full throttle gear, it moved like a freaking turtle. Because all of us weigh a couple hundred, maybe 200 some pounds, and all that weight combined literally turned it into a brick. We literally turned the boat into a motorized brick, because with a pontoon, like a Sea-Doo, if we had a Sea-Doo pontoon, it would be a whole different story. and we probably wouldn't get knocked around as much as we would in the story boat, which is just what I call it. But what people fail to realize is that eventually things like that don't last forever. I mean, no matter how many times you try to fix it, it's not gonna be 100% like it was 40 some years ago when it was first built and first put onto the water and first driven on the water. Because for that time period, that boat was like super durable for that period of time. Now it's not so much, because the fiberglass is obviously going to start cracking and peeling off. The paint's going to start peeling off in huge chunks probably in a couple years from now. And the motor's going to not be able to, work, because it's had a number of breakdowns and mishaps over the years, but we still managed to get it to run quite well. But the thing is, it's not going to be, we can only repair it so much, because eventually we're going to repair it, take it on the water, it's going to break down completely, and we're going to be stranded in the middle of a river or lake that's several hundred feet deep, or tens of feet deep. And I don't want to be swimming in crap. I want to be near land if that happens. Or if we're repairing it at my grandma's house and it completely breaks down, then yeah, we're going to need a new boat, and the Sea-Doo will be a great replacement for it, because it will be much swifter and quicker and more durable. And the speed goes, the speedometer goes a lot higher than this one, because its full throttle is 45, 50 miles an hour. I mean, not even that, 35 or whatever. But, the Sea-Doo pontoon, I believe, well, actually the speedometer in the blue boat goes up to 65, but it doesn't actually go up. It can't actually reach that speed. It's still raining. Yeah, it's really raining outside. So yeah, on days like today at lakes, on days like today when it's raining like this and it's cruddy, that's where it's well, because you gotta maintain the cover of the boat. And first of all, yeah, eventually we are going to move on to a pontoon. I want to move on to a pontoon, because that would be the best option for all of us, because then all of us can fit in it. And then we're not having to switch, then we're not having people swap out every time so then we don't have to come back to the cottage several times to swap people out. So then we can actually have longer boating trips with everyone. So basically, and also the other thing, the other thing that I really want to cover is the cover of the boat cover, because that thing is, it's gonna start crumbling. It's also gonna start crumbling eventually, because what is it made out of? Leather. And leather just is not durable. It's not very durable. It's not a very durable resource. Because, the older leather thing gets, it's going to start tearing. Because, people have sat, especially for leather chairs, the blue recliner down here where I'm recording is eventually going to start ripping and tearing because of all the stress being put on it by people sitting on it. So there's that. And first of all, and now back to season 1. So basically, season 1 is going to cover everything from eco-efficiency tips on how to be more eco-friendly and futuristicism, which is basically bringing futuristic ideas and concepts into the current modern world. Like I'm talking about like Dyson Sphere and like type 1 civilization type stuff. Like that type of like futuristicism. Not like the whole, flying cars thing. And and also the other thing that I've always thought of, like, modernization is not like all these cartoons now being woke. It's more of like redesigning the clothing, and because like if you look at old pictures of Pokemon, like the old Pokemon sprite designs, they've gotten a lot slimmer now. Because, like Beta Politoed was kind of pudgy. And I guess that ended up becoming Bellabolt. Now, because now a lot of the Pokemon, like especially with Sword and Shield, these starters are very more like human-like. Inteleon and Cinderace are very human-like, and also same thing goes for like Lucario and whatnot. And now with like Meowscarada and Quaquaval, they're more like slim and human-like, and compared to like Gen 2 and Gen 1, the sprites were a lot chunkier. Because that's what I consider modernization. See, when you modernize something, that doesn't mean make it more politically correct. That means you're changing the appearance of the character and upgrading their clothes. Because 7 years ago, I had no clue what in the heck techwear was. Up until I started listening to Star-Lord, then I got, that was kind of like the turning point for me with wearing techwear clothes, because I'm like, they're thin and they're wearable in every weather condition. Like, you can buy certain clothes for certain pieces of techwear for different weather conditions. And it was like, I was like, this is amazing. I could see this as being like the next big thing in fashion, because all these clothes that people wear, like how people layer up a ton in the winter, I just need the black running tights and then pants over them, like the ones that I'm like the green, like these green ribbon flap pants that I got from, I think it was like Shein. Yeah, so I'm like, these are like perfect. Like, if you look at a lot of the Pokemon characters and what they're wearing, you can see that they have like muscle shirts. I want to find shirts that are exactly like my running tights, because like in the winter, because those tights keep my legs super warm, and I don't really need sweatpants, because I can just put pants over those. They can just kind of serve as like, long underwear or whatever, but I don't actually need sweatpants all the time anymore, because the leggings, especially like with Under Armour, those leggings are like phenomenal. Especially when it was like -8 that one day. And I'm like, I need to, because just wearing sweatpants is just like, they just get in the way, and you can't really function much. So then techwear allows you to actually function and move around. I love these pants because I can work out in them, sleep in them. just do housework and whatnot, and I mean, even go on a run just around my neighborhood for that matter. So techwear pants are really, really good. And I think they are I think it is the future of fashion. And then there's also steampunk, and really techwear kind of really correlates with cyberpunk street. It's like basically cyberpunk streetwear. And then you have steampunk, which is basically like it's futuristic, but it's like more organic technology. It's all like steam powered stuff that a lot of people wouldn't expect it to be like futuristic and more kind of like a in the past type of thing. So I would really love to see techwear take off as like a mainstream fashion trend in the future. Because a lot of people just say it's weird, and I kind of tend to disagree, because it's like there's different outfits for different weather conditions. So like I can wear these pants in the spring and not be hot. Like on days like today, these pants are perfect because it's pouring down rain, kind of chilly. And these are kind of like almost made out of the same material my Under Armour shorts are made out of. So I like wearing these pants because they have multiple pockets. I can fit my wallet, my AirPods, and my phone and other things in them, compared to just wearing plain old sweatpants and having to shove everything into only two pockets. With these pants, you have multiple pockets, and you can put a lot more stuff in them. So they're basically like thin cargo pants, almost. They're literally like thin cargo pants, and it is like the best thing ever. So, that being said, we're gonna, what the heck? What's going on? I guess it'll spike up once I'm done with the recording. But everything that is happening in season 1, I hope happens in the future, because we need to be more eco-efficient. We need more cyberpunk and techwear and all that stuff. Kind of utopian cyberpunk. Ooh, that would be a good compilation series title. Utopian Cyberpunk. But for now, we're going to just, focus on starting season 1. That'll probably most likely start on Monday. So, yeah. Because I may go get a Nintendo Switch on Monday, so we'll see. And then that means we can start the Grand Console Wars. So once we start the Grand Console Wars, then, I will be giving you updates on my Pokemon Scarlet game. Like at the beginning of each episode, I will give an update on my team and how much progress I've made within the game. So there's that. And then we're gonna finally be able to start season 1 soon. So just stay tuned for that. And this is the final episode of season 0. So I hope you guys enjoyed season 0, and hopefully this starts to get more traction, because when it does and you hit subscribe, that will allow me to make more stuff, more content. And oh my gosh, I'm so hungry. Yeah, I'm going to go eat dinner here in a little bit. So thank you for tuning in to this episode, and I will see you guys in season 1. Thank you for joining, and have a great rest of your day. Peace out.